Chicago Sky, y'all stink, bro. Y'all, look, there's trash and then there's trash. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, the Chicago Sky got destroyed by the stud buds. Everybody watches the stud buds. Shout out to Courtney Williams and Tisha Heiderman, man. Listen, stud buds stood on business today. Nafisa Collier stood on business today. They destroyed the Chicago Sky.
Angel Reese was out there dishing turnovers like it was a holiday special. Everyone got a piece. You get one, everybody gets one. And the stud buds? Yeah, they didn't just come to play, they came to clown. It felt less like a basketball game and more like a live comedy sketch on hardwood. If you've ever wanted to see what happens when swagger crashes headfirst into chaos, this was it. A full-blown basketball roast, and it's still smoking.
Reese had 9 turnovers. Yo, listen, y'all gotta stop with this point forward foolishness, man. Let's take a look, man. Hold on, man. Y'all be wildin', son. Bruh, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop.
Just one more turnover and Angel Reese would have walked away with a triple-double. No, not the good kind. We're talking the kind of stat you don't hang in a trophy case, but hide like an old yearbook photo. 9 turnovers. That's not a performance, that's practically a public service announcement. She was out there passing the ball around like she ran a charity for defenders in need. Here you go, enjoy the fast break, you've earned it.
The entire WNBA and Angel Reese in garbage time. We saw it. Angel Reese last year against the Fever with like 2 minutes to go. She needed to, I think it was like 6 points and 3 rebounds. And she went and caught like 2 rebounds and then immediately goes at Victoria Saxton 3 times in a row.
At this point, the only thing that makes sense is the coaching staff secretly in on the joke. This has to be performance art, a parody of how offense is supposed to work. Because let's be real, anytime they try to involve her in a legitimate offensive set, the paint turns into a full-blown traffic jam that would put LA Rush Hour to shame. You can almost hear the lane crying out, please, no more. She plants herself in there like she's about to roast marshmallows, and as for the pick and roll, forget it, the only thing rolling is the ball right into the opponent's hands.
Chases after this opponent, gets close to her during a box out, grabs her by her hips, and hip tosses her, throwing her to the ground. She stands up, she walks over to this opponent, bends over, screams in her face, and flips her the double bird. That's the WNBA gold. We're gonna get into it. And the laughter, oh, Angel. Oh, my angel, you're my darling, angel. You've been playing well, Angel. I give it to you. You've been playing well. But every now and then, those stinkers, oh man.
So rather than risk a full-on offensive meltdown, they've given her the cute little label of facilitator, which is sweet if we're talking about a kindergarten playdate, not pro-level hoops. And by facilitator, they really mean, please just pass the ball before this turns into a crime scene. Because if she's not passing, she's throwing up bricks. If she's not bricking, she's out there flailing. And if she's not flailing, she's traveling, both literally and on some spiritual journey miles away from the rim.
Like, there's absolutely no foul in that. She gets a good whistle, jumps up, and then goes at somebody on the other team. Who's she go at? She goes at Diamond Miller, her former Maryland teammate. And, like, Angel's 1 tech off a suspension as well. And is like, anytime anyone gets into it with her, she's straight in their face. And I'm like, I don't mind that. But you just gotta be smart. To be fair, the Sky sucks, so you might as well just go and take your, I'll say it,
At this point, it's not just a string of bad games. It's starting to feel like the basketball version of a government cover-up. Nobody wants to say it outright, but let's be honest, Reese isn't just struggling, she's downright unplayable. Not in a rookie finding her way, kind of bad. We're talking full-on, why is she still out there, level bad. There are lawn ornaments with better footwork. Scarecrows might have more dependable hands. Yet somehow, she's still in the mix, gumming up the offense like a chewed piece of candy jammed in a vending machine. But bench her? Never. That would mean admitting the illusion's over, pulling the plug on months of PR polish and empty highlight reels. So instead, she's left standing awkwardly at the top of the key, waving her arms like a confused traffic cop while teammates scramble around like it's an emergency drill. Spoiler, she's not orchestrating anything. The only thing she's setting up is another clip for the blooper reel. And sure, the ball's moving, just usually straight into the hands of someone wearing the wrong jersey.
Thought she was turning her season around. Just when I thought Angel Reese was graduating from pretend basketball player to make-believe basketball player, the level where it's almost believable that Angel Reese is a basketball player. Just when I thought Angel Reese would pull through in the clutch and do America a favor. With a win last night against the Minnesota Lynx, Angel Reese would have become the most popular player in the WNBA dump. Well, KC, that's simply not possible. Caitlin Clark will always be the most popular player in the WNBA.
And the most telling part? You can literally watch her teammates adjusting on the fly to her limitations. Look at the spacing, they're actively avoiding her like she's a black hole on the court. Nobody wants to cut her way and risk getting caught in the blast radius of a wild pass, a mistimed screen, or a dribble that ends up bouncing off her own foot. It's not basketball chemistry out there, it's damage control. And the irony? It's thick. All that hype about leadership, grit, and having that championship DNA, and yet Reese has turned into the anchor dragging the whole team under, not in a steadying way, but in a "we're sinking and no one brought life jackets" kind of way. Pretending 9 turnovers are just growing pains is like calling a house fire a warm night. Standing in the dunker spot while a teammate is getting swarmed isn't strategy, it's obstruction. Right now, the only thing Reese is successfully facilitating is fast breaks for the other team. She's not running the offense, she's hijacking the plot, and not in a good, exciting twist kind of way.
Know why people are defending this? Let's get into it. Nneka Ogwumike, she gets up, proceeds to get boxed out, unable to move her opponent out of the way. Nneka Ogwumike retaliates, grabs her by the hips, throws her to the floor, stands over her, screams on her, flips her the double bird. Quinterly, Dallas Wings teammate, being a good teammate, gets in the middle of the two, pushes Nneka out of the way like a good teammate should. Instead of saying, Nneka, come here, let me get you a hug. No, get up off my teammate, girl. Get up off my teammate. Nneka Ogwumike can't let it go.
You know things are rough when opposing teams are hoping she gets the ball. They're practically daring her to touch it, treating her like the weakest link in the chain. You can almost hear the opposing coach whisper from the sideline, "Let her cook," knowing full well the recipe's half-baked and the kitchen's already in flames. And don't even get started on transition defense. Watching her try to hustle back after a turnover is like watching someone attempt a sprint in flip-flops. Sure, there's motion, but it's all for show. Her body language says it all: frustration without urgency, effort without direction, big energy with zero results. And that circles us right back to the coaching staff, because come on, they have to see it. You don't keep running into this many offensive meltdowns and think, yeah, let's do more of that. This isn't strategy, it's selective blindness. They've settled into the easiest option: use her as a decoy, slap the word "development" on it, and pray nobody's actually looking at the box score. But the illusion lives on. Pressers filled with empty praise, and social media reels that cut right before the inevitable turnover.
Telling you, with a win last night, Angel Reese would have surpassed the Rue from Waterloo in popularity. Now, I am not saying that her dozens of aliases would have passed Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese herself, she definitely would have. Going into the game last night, Cheryl Reed, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, she told the doofus duo who refer to themselves as stud buds, she told them if they lost this game to the Chicago Bravado, they would no longer be allowed to stream on Twitch.
Lads, Angel Reese is currently about to be suspended. She has 7 technical fouls on the season. And if this was last season, in a 44-game season, she would have already been suspended. She would have already been suspended. And it is genuinely one of the funny things about this is that her fans are arguing that none of the texts are warranted. They are all warranted.
The entire situation is basically a masterclass in creative editing. Tweak the angles, trim the lowlights, add the right music, and suddenly you've got a narrative that makes people forget the scoreboard, or that their so-called star player was out there tripping over her own momentum. Meanwhile, the rest of the roster, the ones who can actually shoot, move with purpose, and understand how a shot clock works, they're being sacrificed to protect the brand. Because this isn't about winning anymore. It's about saving face. About avoiding the shame of admitting a mistake. And honestly, that's the real tragedy here. Angel Reese didn't ask for the hype machine to crank itself into overdrive. But now, what we're witnessing is the true triple-double, hype, delusion, and denial. Some folks see a double-double in the box score and suddenly act like she served up a 5-star, triple-baked filet mignon. But if you actually watch the games, eyes open, brain engaged, you'd realize what's happening on that court isn't dominance. It's disorganized chaos. Sloppy, passive, and weirdly confident chaos. Her stat lines are clickbait, dramatic on paper, misleading in real life. And now, she's on the verge of a suspension. That's right, 7 technical fouls already. If this were last year's 44-game format, she'd already be sitting. What's hilarious is how her fans claim none of the techs are deserved. But trust me, they are. Every single one. And those rebounds? Sure, she gets them, mostly because she's grabbing her own misses. Honestly, there should be a separate stat for self-assisted rebounds. An offensive board off your own brick isn't hustle, it's damage control. It's not domination when you're just cleaning up after yourself. That's janitorial work, not basketball greatness. And those points? Bless them. Most of the time it's just the team forcing her into the offense like they're trying to make fetch happen. It's like watching someone frantically jam a square peg into a round hole. They feed her the ball like she's Shaq, but she finishes like her controller just disconnected mid-play. Every shot feels like a dice roll. Every possession, a potential disaster. Yet, through sheer repetition, she somehow lands 10 points. The ball leaves her hand with all the innocent hope of a toddler tossing glitter into the air. Pretty idea, messy result.
So Angel Reese, the most toxic player in all of basketball, is out here slapping clipboards out of her coaching staff's hand because she's so mad her team committed a foul in the crunch after she shot 15 free throws this game. This is the lowest of the low disrespect that you can show to your coaching staff. She trying to get y'all locked in, worried about the next play, and you so toxic with your terrible, awful attitude that you slap the clipboard out of her.
And every time she launches one of her visionary passes straight into a sea of defenders, you can almost hear them quietly say, "Thanks." And somehow, after all of this, she's still being billed as the face of the league. But, the face of what, exactly? Because let's be honest, if there's a blueprint for what not to do on the court, she's the cover model. Want to learn how to properly run a pick and roll? Don't look here. Curious about defensive positioning? Might as well close the tutorial. Need a masterclass in killing all momentum with one hopeless drive into a wall of defenders? Congratulations, you've found your sensei. It's honestly impressive how she's managed to turn basketball into interpretive performance art, with her signature piece titled, How to Derail an Offense Without Even Touching the Ball for 3 Straight Possessions. Just standing there in the paint like some abandoned statue, taking 5 full seconds to gather a shot like she's preparing to fire a Civil War cannon. And the best part? Watch her teammates scatter the moment she gets the ball in the post. They already know what's about to happen, either a wildly off-balance attempt that somehow misses both the rim and the backboard, or a jump pass that sails into the crowd like it's a signed souvenir for someone in row H.
What's up, y'all? I just want to talk about this chick, Angel Reese, for a second. She has been all over my timeline, over my Twitter or X, Instagram, TikTok. She's always pushing people and this and that. She's always in controversy. So let me address this situation real quick. How is she a professional athlete? Like, can we step back for a second and just analyze this situation? How in the world is this chick a professional athlete? She is, out of all the clips that I've seen, she is the worst basketball player I've ever seen.
But the narrative rolls on. She had 14 and 12. Yeah, and committed a full-blown crime against ball movement in the process. It's not hard to stack numbers when you're logging 30+ minutes and the offense flows through you like expired milk through a busted blender. At some point, the stats stop telling the story, because the eye test is yelling, asterisk, this ain't it. Asterisk, there's a huge gap between actual impact and stat inflation. One moves the needle, the other just decorates the box score so the blowout looks a little less embarrassing.